Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tammy, and today I want to talk about perfumes that I've smelled on other people. Some of those I have purchased because of smelling it on them, and some I haven't. So stay tuned if you want to see what perfumes I've smelled on other people. So one time when I was up visiting my sister, I went to basketball games that they were having for her little boy, and we ran into one of Lori's friends that I knew fairly well. Also gave her a hug, and I was like, "What are you wearing? That smells so nice." And she said, "Oh, it's just Dolce Gabbana light blue." Well, this was back probably when it first came out. This was years and years ago. I had never smelled it before, and I just loved it. I thought it was so pretty, so I ended up buying it. And it's still a classic after all these years. I have the Eau Intense, and I always thought I just had the regular light blue, and I was like, oh, I'd love to smell the Intense someday. And one day I read my bottle, I'm like, oh yeah, it is the Intense that I have had this whole time. This has quite a strong, like, ambroxan type note, like that aroma chemical smell. So if you don't like that, you might not like this, but it has a lot of citruses. It has like a Granny Smith apple and lemon, so it's very light and crisp and summery. To me, this smells totally different in the air, smelling it on someone. On her, I just thought, wow, she just smells fresh and pretty. I didn't notice that it smells citrusy. I didn't notice any muskiness or ambroxan, even though that's all sort of there. This doesn't technically have ambroxan in it, but it's just that type of smell that I get from it. Sort of the same scent that you would get from Juliet Has a Gun, Not a Perfume. Something like that is in the background of this. So yeah, that is Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense. Now another one that I purchased recently because I smelled on someone is I Love Love by Moschino. It's very similar to light blue in some ways. It does have that citrusy aspect to it. It's a little bit sweeter. It's a little bit more creamy than that one, I find. This does have cedar, and I think the original light blue has cedar, whereas the light blue Eau Intense has musk and amberwood in the base. Now, the bottle is a no for me, but that's okay. It still smells really good. This happened this year in 2023. We were in the airport, and there was some mix up with our luggage. So the Air Canada lady was helping us, and she's like, "Come follow me." And I was like, "You smell so pretty. Can I ask you what perfume you're wearing?" There was this really sweet and creamy smell. She just smelled very powdery and sweet and fresh and just delicious. And she said, "I'm not sure what the name of it is. It's my daughter's perfume, and it's a blue bottle with an orange cap. Something about love." I said, "Oh, I think it's I Love Love by Moschino." She said, "I think that sounds right." And I was shocked because I had a sample of I Love Love. And to me, it was just very citrusy, just ordinary. But smelling it in the air, coming from her, it convinced me to buy it. So next time I was in Shoppers Drug Mart, I picked it up on the $19.99 rack, which now I think is up to like $21.99. I think they've put that shelf up in price lately. But yeah, so after smelling it on her, I was convinced to get it. Just having the sample alone did nothing to convince me to get it, but smelling it on someone else is what pushed me over the edge to purchase this. So jumping back years ago, I was at an event and I smelled a lady, and I just had to know what she was wearing. I thought she smelled like the prettiest thing I'd ever smelled in my life, and I was like, "What is your perfume?" She said, "It's not a perfume, it's just a lotion, Bath and Body Works lotion." And it was Cherry Blossom by Bath and Body Works. Not Japanese cherry blossom, just the original cherry blossom. I also have body spray of this, and I absolutely love this one. Oh, I actually have the perfume too. Actually, I don't know where that is, but anyway, we're going to talk about the lotion because that is what I smelled on her. There are some really pretty fruits in this. There's plum, there's watermelon, and then there's like wisteria and some purpley flowers like that, heliotrope, and anyways, there's also musk and sandalwood, which are a couple of my favorite notes. And wow, this really projected. Like, I was across the room from her and I could smell this, and I just was drawn to her, and I was like, "Oh, please tell me what your perfume is." So Cherry Blossom by Bath and Body Works. White Musk by The Body Shop has always been sort of one of my signature scents from my teenage years, early 20s, you know, 20, almost 30 years ago. And I also remember smelling this on a lady that was waiting on me at the grocery store, and I recognized it. It was the first time I remember recognizing the scent, and I said, "Oh, you must be wearing White Musk." She said, "Yeah." And I'm like, okay, I love smelling on you, so I know that I love this one. I actually haven't worn this in ages, but basically it's a beautiful musk. There are tons of florals in it. There's also a lot of earthy notes like patchouli and vetiver and moss, oak moss. To me, it's just a pretty powdery floral musk, and I have always loved this one. It seems that when I go south, I usually end up smelling a scent on someone, and it ends up being a mystery scent, something that I can't find or something that I just smelled in passing and I didn't have the courage to go and ask someone what they were wearing, even though I was like, oh, in love with it. One of those I mentioned in the video I did recently where I was tagged by Carbon Centrics and was talking about a fragrance named F16 by Heaven Scents that is not findable online, but it is a gorgeous scent that I love on my husband. So I smelled that. You can hear the whole story about it on that video, but I had smelled it on a guy that was working at our resort, and we got chatting and we talked every day, and I gave him a hug when we went to leave and smelled this F16, and I just had to have it. It's sort of like a white musk for men with maybe a little bit of myrrh or something. I wish I knew what was in it. I wish I could find it anywhere online, but anyways, that's kind of a mystery scent. And then recently when we were south, our waitress, I was like, you smell so good. And she didn't know the name of her perfume. It was so pretty. It reminded me of white musk in a way. So she told me, I'll go find out what the name of it is. It's in my bag that I brought it, like in the, I don't know, like in the break room or whatever. She came back to our table a couple times and I was scared that she wasn't going to remember to look it up. And I was like, oh, did you find out what your perfume was? And she was like, oh, right, I'll get back to you. Well, she was busy. I appreciated her even looking, but she came back and she told me that the name of it was Wonderful Magic. And again, it's another one. Apparently, maybe it's a Caribbean brand or something. I don't know, but this was in Bahamas that I smelled this. And she said it was called Wonderful Magic. And again, I cannot find that one online. And then a year or two ago, we were in Barbados and I smelled this lady passing by, and it was the most beautiful smell that I could ever remember smelling. I was just, she was walking by fairly quickly and I just kind of watched her go and I was like, I can't run up behind her. I will scare her to death because I would have had to run to catch up with her. And I just let her slip away, and I'll never know what that was. But I do remember that I remember that I had my makeup bag with me and I had spilled a little perfume sample in there, and that was This Is Her by Zadig and Voltaire. And the smell that was left behind in my makeup bag that was kind of wafting to me, that musk that was kind of left behind, reminded me of that mystery elusive scent that I missed out on. And I ended up purchasing a bottle of This Is Her because of that, because I'm like, well, I think that's the closest I'm going to get to ever being able to have that scent, because I was ridiculous and didn't go and ask her, but I really would have scared her because I would have been running. I could have like stalked her and like slowly walked behind her and followed her. No. Anyways, that's a perfume regret for me. I think about that all the time. I think about that scent all the time, and I don't know what it was, and I don't even remember exactly what it smelled like, but I think about it, well, not every day, but I think about it a lot. So if you ever smell something on someone and you think you're going to regret not asking them, just ask them. I don't care if you make a fool of yourself, do it. So, you know, learn from my mistakes. So then there are times I've smelled a perfume on someone and I asked them because I was just interested to know what it was, but I didn't go and purchase it because it wasn't, it didn't stand out to me enough to want it. I just am interested in perfumes and I just still want to know what it is, even if it's just like, oh, that's kind of nice, you know. So one that I've smelled on someone else is Armani Si, and I've never purchased that because it was just nice, but it wasn't something that I was craving to have. I also complimented a friend once and she said she was wearing Azzaro Wanted Girl, which is one that I already owned. I don't think I would have recognized it. On her, it smelled totally different. It smelled a little bit more sharp, not hairspray-like, but just kind of that sharper smell to it. More of the booziness came out on her, whereas on me, it's a little bit more of the Dolce Gabbana comes out on me, a little bit more of the soft sweetness, especially when I wear it to bed. So it just goes to show perfume smells different on everyone. Not only does perfume smell different to everyone, it smells different on everyone as well. And then on that same friend, I also had asked her what perfume she was wearing. She couldn't remember the name of it. And when we got back to the Airbnb, she grabbed the bottle for me and I was like, oh, that is Lancôme Idole. It smelled so pretty on her. Actually, it reminded me a little bit of Cherry Blossom. It had that same sort of smell coming from her. So I've never purchased any of the Lancôme Idole scents. I actually like all of the ones I've tried. I have samples of quite a few of them. I have the Intense, regular Idole. I think I also have a sample of Aura and maybe Nectar as well. And I enjoy them all. I just never gone ahead and purchased one of them. Maybe one of these days when I do a declutter and I'm looking for something a little bit like sweet and rosy like that, I might go ahead and purchase one of those. But that is one that I smelled on her and it smelled absolutely beautiful wafting through the air. I was just like, oh, like, what is your perfume? So I love getting compliments, but I also love giving compliments. It's just as fun. So the most recent perfume I've smelled on someone was a couple weekends ago. We were down with our couples group down at my friend's house, and she had made homemade donaires for us, and she makes everything from scratch. I mean, she makes the donaire meat from scratch with the spices and kneads it all up and bakes it and slices it and she makes her own homemade donaire sauce. And I'm surprised if she wouldn't grow the tomatoes and lettuce. And she always has a little special bread for me and her because she and I are both gluten-free. And that was, well, anyway, I got sidetracked there thinking about the donaires. They're so good. I don't put the onions on, of course, because gross. Onions are disgusting. But so one of my other friends that was there, she's the one that I also smelled Azzaro Wanted Girl on and Lancôme Idole on also. She had a perfume on that as soon as she walked in, I smelled her. And I'm telling you, it smelled so fresh and so lovely. I said, what are you wearing? I'm like, that is so pretty. Well, she did not remember. She said that when she got home, she would text me and let me know. And of course, I had to remind her because I just couldn't stop thinking about that. It smelled so pretty, so pretty. I just couldn't quite place it. I just knew that it was a little bit floral, but just very fresh and very pretty and girly and sweet. And I was just in love with it. And the way that our friend had us set up around her table, she had the couples together, and I was like, oh, come over back and sit beside me because I want to smell you. It just smelled so good. So I texted her and I'm like, did you ever find out what the name of that perfume was? And she's like, oh, right, I forgot. She said, it's Gucci Flora. Well, I knew it wasn't the original Gucci Flora, so I thought, well, maybe it is Gorgeous Gardenia. So I asked her, was it a pink bottle with flowers? Was it Gorgeous Gardenia? She said, no, I think it's a teal bottle. So I was like, it's Gorgeous Jasmine? I have smelled that in store and it did nothing for me. I have smelled it, sprayed it on a card into the store, and I was like, oh, that's kind of pretty, but it's nothing. On her, it was glorious. So I found my sample in the drawer and I just sprayed it on the back of my hand and I was smelling it and I was thinking about it and I was like, wow, this reminds me of Pure Poison. It's just that kind of a smell. Now, I actually looked on Fragrantica and I don't think Pure Poison was mentioned as a comparison. However, Burberry London was mentioned as a comparison. And I can see that as well. It's the same kind of really pretty sweet floral. Anyways, I never would have dreamed how amazing this could smell on someone. And maybe it's just her. Maybe on me it wouldn't smell quite as amazing, but that's another one that I have smelled on someone. And I haven't purchased it, but you never know. So those are my most memorable scents that I ever remember smelling on someone else. And like I said, some I have purchased, some I have not had any desire to purchase at all, and some I'm thinking about purchasing. Remember, if you smell a beautiful perfume on someone, don't be scared to ask them what it is. Don't have the regret like I had of that lady in Barbados. Oh, I just knew that it was probably my perfect scent, and I just regret not asking her. I should have run after her like a fool. Like a fool, I say. That's a line from a show. Let me know if you know what it is. So this was just a short and sweet video. I just wanted to do a little quick video that I could have to work on and edit while I'm away. I'm going away for my tattoo. This is the last day that I won't have a tattoo. You'll be seeing it. I'll do a big reveal. Thank you so much for clicking on that thumbnail today. Thank you for watching me and spending this time with me, and I hope you'll join me next time. Bye.